Hello and welcome. Today I'll be interviewing one of Emory's newest faculty members, Carleigh Blaylock. We will be discussing her newest venture into radio, and I'll be learning radio through a feminist lens. Welcome, Carleigh. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm all right. So to people unfamiliar with your show, what can they expect to hear?
Yeah, so our show is titled She Walks, and we got our title from Sojourner Truth's Walk to Freedom. And so basically when Sojourner would talk about her freedom journey, she would say that she walked, she didn't run. And the idea is that she put one foot in front of the other, took it one day at a time, and never looked back. And so we sort of, took that title and wanted to help women to walk to freedom in any aspect of their lives, wherever they might find themselves in bondage.
Okay. Even though you're already a professor and a student success coach, what made you want to do this?
Yeah, so my friend Reverend Sharon Bowers and I started this show, and it was really her brainchild.
Okay.
And she asked me to come on and co-host it with her. And we started it when we both worked in DEI together. So at the time, it was a perfect kind of segue for us to do. And then when I moved into my new role in student success, she asked if I would keep doing it with her, and I told her I would. And it's been just a wonderful experience.
Okay. What was your first initial reaction when Shannon asked you this?
Yeah, so I had never done radio before, and the format started off with Sharon being the expert. She is a womanist scholar, and so, I was basically the person asking her the questions, and she would give me answers. And then slowly over time, it just sort of developed into us having a conversation, and we started bringing on guests, and so I ended up kind of moving from just I'm asking her questions role into an actual co-host role. Okay. Which was really fun. But I was honored that she decided to work with me.
It's a phenomenal show too. When you're discussing all this and you're going into these topics, do you think in the future maybe you'll venture into more specific topics, such as lack of representation of Black women in radio, or the increased violence against Asian women, or just women in general? Do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. So we've been doing this show for about a year, and starting out, we were working through sort of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but for women in specific. So we took like women and spirituality, women and wealth, and sort of just picked these topics and talked very broadly about them. But in the past year, we've definitely got a lot more specific, and we've had guests come on and talk about their experiences as well. So like recently we had on Dr. Kristen Krause, who talked about women and the field work they have to do in order to get higher levels of education, particularly doctorate degrees, and how, do women feel that they're prepared to go out and do this field work? How are we making sure that women are safe when they're doing field work and things like that? So we have gotten more specific. And one thing that Sharon and I always say is that we are by no means experts. We are, we're learning. Sharon's definitely more of an expert than me, but we're just here to learn and to lift up women's voices and let them talk about their own lived experiences as well.
Do you feel like your show is really becoming a voice for women in this area?
I'd like to think so, but I'm not sure.
I guess. These are some really tough topics to talk about, especially being a woman and you're talking about. So what was one of the hardest things you had to talk about on your show?
Yeah, so Sharon and I do get a little fiery sometimes on our show, and I think the episode that I think got us the most fired up was when we talked about women's reproductive rights, particularly in answer to the Texas abortion bill. That was definitely one that we got fired up about, and probably one of the toughest ones we've had to record.
Did it go well? How was the views? All that fun stuff?
It went well. We got a lot of positive feedback from some women on campus who listened to it, so that was really good. And I think, it was raw and it was real in the moment too, which I think is, part of what we try to do, right? It's not polished, it's literally us just talking about how we feel in the moment about what is happening. So I think that it was a good showcase of kind of where we stood on the issue.
As a male listener and how you just described it, what could men in this area, like-minded men like me, what could we do to help women daily to not go through such things like that?
So what we always talk about, the issues that we're talking about through an intersectional feminist lens. So we do center the voices of women, but we do talk about patriarchy, and we talk about gender roles and how those do impact men, right? And we talk about the way that men and women are socialized and how that impacts the roles that we play later in life. And so one of the things that we always say is that, for men to be good allies, they need to kind of, dig into their own socialization and why do they react and feel the way that they do about things. And another thing is just educating themselves too. And if there is a woman in the room who, is presenting an idea, or a woman in the room who is talking about her own experiences, to really listen and to lift up her voice.
Really good. Gosh, that's a wonderful thing. Like that whole vision behind it. For this area, I know being a feminist and speaking about women things may not be the best thing in this area. So how's the backlash, anything have you received from the public here?
So far, if we have received any backlash, I haven't heard about it. I've been, I guess, protected from it. I haven't, heard anything. I've only heard good things, which is great. Mm-hmm. But, we also are very honest, and, this is our perspective, this is our lived experience, and it is perfectly okay for other people to have other lived experiences. We've had women come on and talk about, their experiences as women leaders that have been very negative, and then we've had women come on who have had amazing experiences in boardrooms full of men. So again, we very much lift up everyone's experience and honor that. So I would hope that anyone who was listening would, understand that this is our perspective and our experience.
How far do you see this going?
I mean, we're going to continue until we can't do it anymore. So we're going to keep on going. Right now, we're doing a Women in Leadership series, and we've interviewed Dr. Kristen Krause, Dr. Kelly Bremner, Dr. Christine Fleet, VP Jennifer Pierce, Dr. Tracy Lauder, and Dean Tracy Wright. And so we've been really grateful to have those amazing women on the show, and they've each talked about their own perspectives as women leaders in their fields. And once this series is over, we'll probably do another series, but we're kind of leading this into Women's History Month, which is in March. And Reverend Sharon Bowers is coordinating that. So she's going to be coordinating Women's History Month, which is really exciting too.
And where and when can we catch this phenomenal program?
So this program airs at 1 p.m. On Wednesdays on WEHC, and then they re-air the previous week's show on Mondays at 6 p.m. I believe there is an archive as well, but I will have to follow back up with that.
Gotcha. And thank you, Carleigh Blaylock, for talking about this. That was your news interview. My name is Omar Massenberg.